Hey everybody, thanks for coming to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a long time or short time subscriber, thanks for coming back. And this is the second part of the saga of Bud Brown. And so anyway, I get a lot of great comments, and I appreciate your making comments, and it encourages me to keep going. So where I left off, I think, was that I'd gotten out of high school. I had talked about my hobbies, but now it's kind of more in a chronological order. In that era of 67, 68, 69, around there, they had in the United States a draft. The draft is when you're 18 years old, you're obligated to sign up to join the military forces if you're called. And then they had what they call a lottery system. They would just pick numbers out, and if your number was called, then you have to go in. It's usually the Army or the Marines. But there were some exceptions. You could go to college, you could get married, or if you had an accident, like you accidentally shot yourself in the foot, then you would be disqualified. So I decided to go the college route. So I went 1 year in junior college and met a fellow there who I was in a French class with. And he said, "Hey, I know you like learning languages and you need to get your military obligation out of the way. So there's a place in Monterey, California called the Defense Language Institute. You can go there, learn a language, and being in the Navy, you have a slim chance of going to Vietnam." I found out later that that didn't hold up. But anyway, so I said, "That's fantastic." So I went to the recruiter, Navy recruiter, and I said, "I want to sign up to learn the language." He said, "Hold on there, Haas. First, you have to be qualified. You have to have the ability, the aptitude." So in boot camp, um, they gave us a lot of tests because, which I think is a smart idea. They want to put you in a field that you are qualified and that you have the ability to do. So I took this test that would go to Defense Language Institute, DLI, and after the results were in, they said, "Congratulations, you're qualified to go to DLI. Now we teach 30 languages there. So we'd like you to put your first three choices." All right. So my first choice, French; second choice, German; third choice, Spanish, which I already had experience with Spanish. So I said, "Hey, I'll just get stationed in Europe, have a great old time." The ones that have been in the military, probably you already know, that's what they call the dream sheet. They don't give you what you want, they give you what you need. So, needless to say, they said that when I get my orders, they said, "You're going to be spending 36 weeks at DLI. All right, studying Vietnamese." What? So that's what happened. Went to DLI in Monterey, California, which is a beautiful place. Studied Vietnamese for 36 weeks, and with the holidays and everything, it turned out to be about a year. And then I was stationed in Texas for a little while, then stationed in Fort Meade, Maryland for a little while. And then, as the writing was on the wall, I would be going to Vietnam. But I would be going to the Philippines and then going back and forth from the Philippines to Vietnam. And I might mention at this point, when I was in boot camp, I saw these little brown, skinny, bald headed young men there. Of course, we were all bald headed at that time because they shave your head when you go in. And I asked a fellow sailor there, I said, "Hey, what's the Viet Cong doing here?" I'd never seen a Filipino in my whole life. They said, "That's not a Viet Cong, that's Filipinos." What? Filipinos? What's that? It's a group of islands that United States and the Philippines, they have a relationship, and so they're allowed to come into the U.S. Navy. Oh, okay. But I remember the sound of their language was sound like a machine gun. Oh my gosh. So of course, little did I know that many years later my whole life would be entangled, wrapped up, and permeated with the Filipino culture. So I did go to the Philippines, and then I did go to Vietnam. And of course, if you know our story, which is we had our love story on Magpakailanman. It's a Filipino news channel, and also another channel called Rated K. And I'll put the links down below. So they interviewed us, and actually they did a video about our love story, and you'll learn a lot about Gloria's background, where she came from, what she went through. So we fell in love, got married, and then 6 months later, I got out of the Navy. I don't think I mentioned that Lance went into the Navy 1 year before I did, and then I went in. So I went in and got out after 4 years. And what happened with Lance? Well, he stayed in. Years went by and years went by, and he went from a Navy recruit, D1, like me and everybody else that starts. He went through all the enlisted up to Master Chief. And then he bumped into the officer category, and he got out Lieutenant Commander. So I'm very proud of him that he accomplished so much in the Navy. But I'll let him tell you about that if you want. So anyway, that's the Navy story. When I got out of the Navy, I sent for Gloria, and I was thinking that maybe it would be easier for me to send for my wife than for my girlfriend, which I really don't know if that's easier or not. But I couldn't officially get married in the Philippines. Get married at that time because I had a clearance, security clearance, and they discouraged anyone from getting serious with the so-called locals. You could have a girlfriend, but if you're thinking about marriage, you're going to be shipped out real quick. So we secretly got married, and then I got out 6 months later and sent for her as my wife. Then we got married, and she went to work she was a seamstress, and she still is, and factory. So she was sewing, I think at that time, she was sewing stuffed animals. And then later she got another job sewing seat belts or something. But after 5 years, we decided we're ready to have children now. So I had at that time while she was working, I had gone back to college, and then I had finished my uh, degree, BA, and linguistics. You know, no surprise there. And then I started teaching, and I taught sixth grade for many years. And then there was a time when I thought I would like a younger uh, grade level. So I went to second grade. Woo! Boy, I hightailed it back up to sixth grade. Those little second graders, they're a handful. At least in sixth grade, I could talk to them. We can shuck and jive. They get jokes and things like that. So I taught for a total of about 20 years. And then I got out.